Now, Speaker Ryan, yes, he held his news conference moments ago. I'm going to roll some tape from it. Go.
This amendment would create a new federal risk-sharing program. It is a high-risk pool that will lower costs for people with pre-existing conditions and lower costs for everyone else. And the authors of this amendment will go into more detail. Following votes today, I've asked the House Rules Committee to mark up this amendment and add it to what we were already considering before. I want to thank Gary and Dave for being so productive throughout this process. Their amendment makes this a much better bill. It gets us closer. This is the kind of collaborative, bottom-up effort that we have been looking for.
That was the main part of his statement today on health care reform. Joining us now is Congressman Scott Perry, Republican from Pennsylvania. I do apologize,
yes,
sir.
That's
It's
right.
Pennsylvania. I got it. I got it, okay. And you, sir, are a member of the Freedom Caucus. Sir, strikes me, you've got just about everything you want.
We are getting closer by the moment. We would like to have finished this thing up by week's end here. I don't know that that's going to happen, unfortunately, but I think we're in a much better place. We're getting there, and we're really optimistic about things. Look, I think most of everybody in Congress wants to get this done.
You've won. You just got high-risk pools to get premiums down. That's a mainstay of what you wanted. Surely, you must be very, very close to a yes. Why can't you just drop the objection and say, yes, 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 let's do this for the good of the party and the good of the country and the good of the people? Why can't you do it?
It's for the good of the people. We got to see that the legislation passes. And there were some other things on the table, Stuart, that aren't being discussed right now. We need to see where they end up. They're on the table right now. We are still talking, and that's both sides. That's the liberal side of the Republican conference and the conservative side. We're still talking right now. This is just the latest. So there has been more in the mix for the last 2 weeks. We just got to see where it all works out. But the bottom line is, and the news is that we're all working together to get this done. We'd like it sooner than later, but we're focused on this thing. You got to know that.
Well, I know that,
but we got to get it right. We got to get it right.
We got
to get it right.
Look, so millions and millions of people gave their vote to the Republican Party over the last generation. You got the House, you got the Senate, you got the White House. And now, in your first legislative test, you can't move just that far right before Easter to get something on the books and get things moving.
We're ready to stay. I will let you know. I've told
you are?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to stay. We have told people we are ready to stay. So this is not my call. I'm ready to stay and grind this thing out and get it done.
So why do you think that, Speaker, now whose call is it? Who says you stay or you don't stay? Is that Speaker Ryan?
I think it's generally Speaker Ryan and leadership in general, and they're polling all different sides of the factions, and they're looking at the legislative process and the calendar to see what can fit.
Have you pressed Speaker Ryan and said, look, we'll stay? We'll do this thing.
Absolutely. Many of us have pressed all of our leadership to say, look, this is a good thing if we stay. Certainly we don't want to be here for Easter Sunday, but we can work right through to get this done. We are ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, you know, we'd like to see it. I mean, we really would. You know, we really would.
Yes, I agree.
But you wouldn't say yes unless you get that extra little thing that you've been pressing for. You won't say yes now.
I haven't seen the amendment. It's going through rules right now. As I understand, I just heard that this morning. So I haven't seen the amendment. There's also some other discussion about waivers for states. There's also some other discussions about the regulatory policy and the tax policy that have been ongoing. I don't know if they're done with those yet. So with all due respect, you can't, if you say yes early around here, then things get added into the bill afterwards, and they say, but you already committed to yes.
Well, if you saw it in writing, if they came back to you now and it's in writing, pretty much what you want, we give or take a few things here. You'd say yes.
Look, you take when you get more than 50%, certainly 80% of a loaf, you take it. Absolutely. But you got to know how this place works, and a lot of times they like to get an early commitment, and then they change it a little bit. And it's problem. We represent 720,000 people in our district, not Washington, D.C. So we got to be able to go home and see that this is what we did, and it was the best we could do. And I think we're getting, I will tell you, I'm very optimistic we are very close.
I think you'll be able to go home for this Easter recess and give them most of what they wanted, sir.
That would be great.
Look,
that would be great.
Thanks very much for being with us. Very busy day, contentious day. I got it. But look, we appreciate your presence here, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.